Bradley Chapman and welcome to Raw Business TV. What an exciting day we've got today. This morning we had an interview with James, the founder of Winkball, on the other side of London, rushing through the Tube to get across to Wardour Street to meet the main man himself, Lee McQueen. Hi Lee.
How you doing?
Right?
Yeah,
finally.
Good to see you again.
The man is as good looking in the flesh as he is actually in the print, and for the guys back at Raw TV, especially the girlies who are mad over Lee, yes, he's a beautiful man. Well listen, fantastic. I'm really pleased to be in London today with Lee. What a superstar. Obviously the Apprentice and now Raw Talent Academy. He's a fantastic guy, he's a motivational guy, and today what a great opportunity for our listeners and our readers to find out a little bit more about Lee and what he's doing with his new business. So just before we go into the interview, that's the final, folks. That wouldn't be that one. Introducing Raw. I always tell you a little bit about Raw Business. We're an online networking community helping businesses to get connected. We print and publish a business magazine called Raw Business Magazine, and I'm proud and privileged to have interviewed some of the UK's highest profile entrepreneurs, and it's always interesting to meet the different sort of characteristics and outlooks that the different entrepreneurs have, and it's really great and exciting actually. We also run face-to-face business networking events, and we're into mentoring and motivation. Today we're on Raw Business TV, and we feature quite a lot of entrepreneurs and then also everyday people that are the members that are aspiring to become successful. Today is quite a good interview with Lee, because Lee's been through the process, he's been on The Apprentice, and now he's really working in the sales sector to get the UK moving. So really great stuff. A little bit more information about Lee McQueen. A few guys, you already know Lee's background. He's famous without me having to say. However, previously worked in recruitment and spent 10 years in the industry, and 6 years of which were with Capita Resourcing. Ended his career at Capita as the sales and delivery manager, heading up the IT recruitment division. In 2008, he beat 20,000 people. 20,000 people! That is just so awesome to land the role with Lord Sugar by winning the Apprentice. Awesome stuff. You know, I'm going to ask some questions what went on behind the scenes a little bit later. We've already got the chat screen flashing away there. Most recently, he set up with Simon Sugar Amscreen, which is a digital media business. If you've been to the BP petrol stations, you'd have seen the screens there, doing their advertising and giving you ideas and offers and stuff. And then, of course, now the founder of Raw Talent Academy. So absolutely fantastic. The chat questions, you're going to have to wait for a while. We will come back to that. Also, Raw Talent Academy. Now, I'm going to leave the information on the screen about Raw Talent Academy, because I want to turn to Lee now and ask him a few questions about his journey and where he is now. I guess I want to start off by saying, why did you apply for The Apprentice? Because, you know, you're going through this career in sales, and The Apprentice is an awesome thing. I know it, you know, but why did you personally say, right, okay, I'm down for that, I want to apply?
I mean, as you just said before, Bradley, like the graphic suggested, I've got 10 years recruitment experience and 6 years at Capital Resourcing, and I felt that I had a great time at Capital. It was fantastic, and I learnt a lot. And you know, at the end of my time there, my business was turning over £32 million. I had 30 staff working for me, 22 which were revenue generating. So for me to walk away from that was, you know, I had to have big kahunas effectively to actually do that. But it's about taking yourself outside of your comfort zone. Sometimes, you know, people get stuck in a rut and they're in their comfort zone. And for some people, for most people, that's fine. But for me, I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to change what I wanted to do. Ultimately, I didn't think there was another opportunity there for me at Capita further than what I was doing. So, you know, a lot of people said to me, oh, why don't you apply for The Apprentice? And I thought, right, and why not? I didn't think anything of it. I mean, as you know, some people will know, if you've watched my series The Apprentice, I got caught for lying on my CV, for example. For somebody who's got 10 years recruitment experience, a bit of a nightmare. But the reason why I bring it up is because, you know, I didn't think that I'd get anywhere, so I just kind of put my application in, put my CV in, and thought, oh, I won't hear anything. And to my amazement, you know, a couple of weeks later, they said, oh, do you want to come in for your first interview? And it was like, wow, it started to snowball from there.
So what was your first interview like? I mean, as I've heard, there's all sorts of scary stories going on there between, you know, selling high-heeled shoes with one heel missing and all this. What was the first interview like? Was it daunting?
The first interview was through a lot of different people. So you actually go through seven different interviews before you actually get onto The Apprentice. And they do a lot of different stuff for you. Sometimes it's like, why do you want to be Sir Alan's next apprentice? And you have to answer that question. And if you don't answer it well enough, you leave. You leave the process. So it's intense, really, really hard. Sometimes they're, one high-heeled shoe and all that sort of stuff. And that's the sorts of things that I've incorporated in War Talent Academy in the audition process that I do for my academies as well. Because I think it gets people thinking on their feet and really understanding, do they really want it? Do they want to be bothered to go through this? And I think most of the time, which is why I've called my business Raw Talent, and hopefully why you're called Raw Business, is because it's about them raw attributes that people have that clients or employers want to tap into. So I think it's important that we have them, like kind of raw attributes focused on. Do you see what I mean?
Absolutely.
I.e., can you think on your feet? Can you sell a pen, a big pen, if somebody's already using a Mont Blanc or whatever, them sorts of things. And you'll see that in the apprentices themselves in the interview stages in the apprentice. I think I sold Karen Brady a Mont Blanc, a big pen versus a Mont Blanc. So it was one of them really.
Fantastic. Okay, so the journey that you've gone through. So you applied, you get into the apprentice, you go through all these different stages. And we can speak all day long about the apprentice, and I want to talk lots about Raw Talent Academy. But you get to the final, and you're sharpening your skills as you go along, and you get into your sort of the last day when you're going to potentially and did win.
Yeah.
What was that last task like?
It was intense. I mean, again, for those of you who remember the task, we did a perfume task, and I was with Claire versus Alex and Helene, and I couldn't string two words together in a presentation. It's ironic now because I'm doing lots of stuff now. I do a lot of public speaking now, but I couldn't string two sentences together, and I was getting my words wrong. It was a night because the intense pressure. You've worked for 12 weeks, week after week after week, of actually going through that intense process, wanting. Your desire gets more and more and more, and for it to culminate in presenting effectively in front of 10 million people, 150 industry experts that are in the room as well, and you've only had 2 days to prepare, it is mind-boggling pressure. It was hard, I've got to tell you. So to actually come through that and to get the finger to say that you're hired was immensely satisfying, I have to say.
So listen, you did it, you got through, apprentice winner. How did you feel after you knew you'd been hired? What was that night like? So who did you phone first? What was the first one? I've done it!
It was weird. I mean, because there's only certain friends and family that can know.
Signed to...
exactly.
Signed to,
yeah, exactly. Total non-disclosure. And it's, the way they do it, I have to say, is absolutely fantastic. The way they keep the secret going, all that sort of stuff. So obviously my close friends, who now is my wife, it was a girlfriend at the time, and that sort of stuff, they knew, and I was like, oh my God, I've done it. And she was the first person that I phoned.
Did they believe you? Because obviously, I know other people have been on reality shows and they'd won something, and when they told somebody that they actually won it with their closest family, they didn't believe them.
No, I mean, the thing is with the apprentice, because you stay away from home, so you're in that kind of apprentice bubble, you're cut off completely. So for me, it was like I got. As soon as Nicola got a phone call from me, she knew that something was happening. And I've been there a long time. I said, look, I've done it. And she was like, oh my God, that's unbelievable. And I said, book a flight. We've got to go. I've got to go on holiday. I need a holiday. And that was the first one I said. We went to Abu Dhabi for a week. But it was amazing. Yeah, amazing experience. And for me, it taught me a lot about confidence. I know I probably come across quite confident, and maybe I did on screen as well, but I had some issues around education, hence the line on the CV and all that sort of stuff. But it just goes to show you that, if somebody like me can do it with the background that I've got, the raw talent that I've got, and the attributes, that's why I set up the business in the first place, because I believe in that passion and raw attributes for people to be able to go on and achieve. And if I can do it, anyone can do it.
And it clearly shows. So listen, one last question before we get on to Raw Talent Academy. Lord Sugar, sum him up in a nutshell. Is he the man that everyone sort of perceives he is from the telly?
I don't know if he's the man that everyone perceives he is, but he is the man. Put it that way. He is the man. Honestly, I've got to tell you, what I learnt from Lord Sugar, what a fantastic opportunity, not only to win the apprentice, but to go into an organisation that is cash rich, somebody who's arguably the best entrepreneur the UK has seen over the last 40 years, somebody who's cash rich by £900 million, and gives you the opportunity with his son Simon was the CEO, Mir's development director, to set up a business. That's exactly the experience that I never got in the corporate world, and that's exactly the experience that I needed and wanted. And for 2 years, we set up a digital media business called Screen. Yeah. We signed a fantastic deal with BP 7 months in after they had an incumbent supply for 2.5 years. We kind of nicked the business effectively, and then domino effect happened, and we ended up getting, as you said in the introduction, all of the petrol stations. So Screen now run a digital media convenience stores within petrol is brilliant, and to work with him, look, he's firm. he's fair. He's the boss that people would want. You don't want people to be, bouncing around the houses. You want them to tell areas, don't you? That's what I like. You knew where you stand with him. He'd tell you if you've done something wrong, and he might tell you if you've done something right.
It's funny because I interviewed Tim Campbell a couple of weeks back, and he was telling me that he was working on the health and beauty products.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If you know the story.
Yeah,
but
of course I do. Yeah.
He was getting the. He had to get the packaging. He had to get the containers. Did you hear the story?
Yeah.
So he got the containers, but he sourced them from the UK, not from China. So then he come into the ballroom with Lord Sugar there, and obviously he got the glass containers from the UK, and they're very expensive.
Yeah.
And I think Lord Sugar just had 3 words or 4 words. Haven't you heard of China?
Yeah.
And it was quite a giggle. Now, was there anything where you did something that was a bit like a faux pas or something that was a bit
definitely.
a slight embarrassment, but a good education?
Yeah, I think that I think one of them areas was on the staffing side, because what we did is we set the business up from scratch, but then we acquired 3 businesses on the way as well.
Yeah.
And what we had to do was kind of integrate them staff into our way of thinking, into the Sugar's way of thinking, all that sort of stuff. And sometimes I think that my enthusiasm of staffing and all that sort of stuff kind of got away with me, and you had to pull you back in line a little bit. But again, I don't think you mind that.
That's just passion, isn't it?
One of the main things that I would take from working with Lord Sugar is, and it's not going to be a magic wand, I'm afraid, guys, but it is just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Don't overcomplicate business. It doesn't need to be complicated. What it needs to be is simple and effective, and deliver. Always deliver on what you are going to say you're going to do, and customers will come back. And I think that happened in my recruitment days before with Capita, certainly reinforced in my apprentice, and obviously working for Lord Sugar, and hopefully that's what's happening now as well.
So let's talk a little bit about Raw Talent Academy, because what a fantastic concept, very well needed. And we spoke a few months ago when you was pretty much at the starting stages.
Yeah.
And the concept was exciting then. So tell us a little bit more about Raw Talent Academy and where you're at now, how it's developed, and what's starting to happen, because the flower's starting to bud and grow and come into nice bloom now, isn't it?
I think, Bradley, that when anyone sets up a business, and this is kind of going from a little bit of experience now, my business is only 6 months old, but for anyone that starts a business, you need to pay your bills, right? So you need to have a means. Now, I'm completely self-funded. I've got no external funding whatsoever to come with my business. I've started from scratch, off my own back. But so I've had to diversify a little bit on what my business is about in order for me to start getting some money and to move forward. And I'm now at a stage where the Raw Talent Academy itself I set it up because I've been employing salespeople for the last 7 years. I've employed salespeople in the recruitment industries. I've employed salespeople in the advertising industries. And we all know that anyone that's recruited a salesperson, it's very difficult to find a real good gem. And once you find one of them good gems, you have to try and keep
nugget.
it. It's a nugget, exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, it was all about, if we can't find them, why don't we give people an opportunity that necessarily wouldn't be given an opportunity in corporate sales? For example, a market trader might have some raw talent, might have some raw attributes around selling, but a corporate sales organisation wouldn't necessarily look at a market trader because he or she hasn't got the right things on their CV and they haven't got the right qualifications or whatever it might be. And I was a bit perturbed really by the amount of organisations that would use a degree as a sifting tool to actually discount people based on not having a degree or a certain level of degree for sales for sales jobs. And I didn't get it because I'm good at sales. That's one of my fortes. That's why I set the business up. Why I won the Apprentice. That's why I've been successful in business so far. I haven't got a degree, and I wasn't educated to a great standard, as everybody probably knows. So I couldn't understand why organisations would use it as a sifting tool. So the whole point about Raw Talent Academy is to give everybody an opportunity. It's a level playing field. I want to hire you based on your profile, your attributes, what you can actually do, rather than what's written on a piece of paper. And I think I proved that by lying on my CV before, and use it as an example. The fact is, when you're hiring salespeople, they can put anything on their CV, but the proof is in the pudding. And I wanted to take the apprentice concept for auditions effectively and put people through business tasks, to sales tasks, selling pens, selling one shoe and all that sort of stuff, just to see whether what we're getting for our money. And the unique concept about my idea is that we actually invite the clients down to assess with us, so the clients can actually see what they're buying before they actually take the talent on.
Try before you buy. Yeah.
Kind of, if you want to say that. And the third phase of that is that I've put together a syllabus of training that I believe that has got me to where I am in terms of the sales side of things. Some of it's people will know. Some of it's quite out there. And the reason why is because I believe that these are the key things, the keys to my success. So my syllabus, my training syllabus, my development syllabus for the new talent, if you like, for anyone's business, is based on what I believe that a salesperson needs. And yes, I've worked primarily in recruitment, but obviously within advertising as well. But a lot of sales skills are quite transferable. So that's the sort of why I've set the business up and why I'm passionate about it. I think it's the way forward. I think too many people hire based on a CV and not hire based on talent.
I agree, because if you're, of course, I'm the same as yourself. I've had a sales background, recruited a lot of salespeople, and your CV, as soon as you read your CV, it's so easy to discount a CV. You're so right. And I'm just trying to think back, and all the CVs that's probably come across my desk, how many nuggets got away from me?
How many
Nuggets got away from me? How many people got away from me because they didn't have an ability to show me who they were in their person, as you're saying. So this could be something revolutionary. I've just come up with an idea for you, which we'll talk about off air.
Yeah.
Okay, so where in the next 12 months will things develop in terms of the people being able to find you, to know how to come to you? So I am a market trader. Yeah. I'm selling tomatoes and cucumbers on the market stall. How do I get to you, or how do you get to them? So we can, get this talent in.
Exactly. Well, the first thing really is client driven, because my idea is all about the client finding that talent. We're just the intermediary effectively. So if a client comes to me, say for example in London, and they say, right, okay, we want to set up an academy in London, what I will then do is I will then start finding all of the rocks, if you like, going under all of the rocks within London. So it might be shoe shops, it might be graduates. I mean, look, I'm not discounting graduates here. There's 80 graduates to every one job. We've got 16 to 24-year-olds. Unemployment's the highest it's ever been. Yeah, let's think about this. We've got organisations that are making people redundant that are 45, 50 years old, and their confidence is on the floor because they've been working on. So maybe it's an opportunity for them to say, well, maybe I need to retrain myself. Yeah.Maybe I need to go into a sales organisation. Yeah. I'm not just after youngsters. Just because it's an academy, it doesn't mean it's young. Yeah. I'm after anyone. And so I want the talent. Yeah. And that's what it's about. And the only way you can find that talent, for me, is to put almost like a blanket approach, effectively, to say, okay, doesn't matter what shape, size, or whatever you are, come to us, and we will assess whether or not you're going to be good enough. And that's where we would start in London.
That's got to give people confidence enough in itself, because if somebody knows they've got an ability, but they've got concerns with the CV, which you've highlighted already, then that's going to give them the impetus to want to come forward and want to try something new. And like you say, if all these people are getting made redundant and unemployment is growing, as we know, and civil servants are just going to, fantastic. What an ideal opportunity for a career change.
Exactly, and I think that's what people need to focus on. Exactly. And for me, sales, doesn't matter what business you are, if you're a one-man band, if you're a multi-billion turnover organisation, if you're an art business, if you're a computer business, if you're a recruitment business, sales is at the heart of everything you do. If you're a one-man band, you're selling yourself. Even in a job interview, you're selling yourself. Everybody thinks that the CV is selling you, but what actually is you. It's you that's actually selling yourself. So for me, sales is about understanding what the client or the customer or the employer, whatever, needs and wants, and then being able to deliver that back. That's what I believe a good salesperson should be about. It's about building relationships. It's about having them raw attributes. And if we can find at Raw Talent Academy, if we can find that talent and start to hone it via the training and development programs that we put together, then them gems that you talked about before won't be getting away. We're actually been encouraging them. I think in recruitment, for example, we recycle too many people. We've worked at an organisation, so they must be good, 5 years experience, so let's take them on again. Well, hang on a minute. What about introducing new people from an industry that you wouldn't normally have?
Sorry to interrupt, chaps.